Welcome to the Georgia-Florida Baseball Show. This show is brought to you by Georgia Showcase Baseball and its owner, Ben House. Ben House is in the left upper side. What's going on, Ben?
KP, how you doing?
Man, I'm good. And I'm your host, Kevin Perkins. And today we have two rival coaches, but good friends, Tony Mitchell of Lovejoy High School, and he is on your bottom right, and Josh Froneberger of Forest Park High School. Guys, how are we doing today?
Hey, good.
We're doing good. Okay.
Doing great.
All right. Today we are going to discuss why go home. Both these guys have chosen to work in the communities they grew up in. Why is it important to be in your community and to come home and to try to make that area better through the schools and through baseball? It's not just a me thing for either one of these guys. This is a we thing, as they want their area to be good, and that's something that Ben's also heavily invested in. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how hard it is to do that. We're going to talk about family investments and your players and getting the most potential out of your kid, not always as an athlete, but just as a kid in general. And we're going to do all of that after this.
This is the Georgia-Florida Baseball Show, brought to you by Coach Ben House with Kevin Perkins from Surrounded by Sports.
And we're back. Real quick, thank you to Arden's Garden, Atlanta's premier source for juices, smoothies, and plant-based foods, and Towns Davis and Associates LLC, attorney and counselors at law, winning millions, fighting for justice for you, and of course, Showcase Apparel. Now, Josh, tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
Well, my name's Josh Froneberger, and grew up in Forest Park, Georgia. And, just kind of came around with baseball, and, baseball around in Clayton County was a major impact in a lot of people's lives. So growing up in Clayton County, one thing everybody did was play baseball. So played baseball growing up, played basketball and football, and, graduated from Forest Park High School, stayed in the county, and had an opportunity to go to Alabama State on scholarship with baseball, and eventually graduated from Jackson State. And baseball just hasn't fueled my engine, put the oil in my car, to get me where I'm at today, so to give that back is, what I'm trying to do and what I want to do.
All right. Tony, you want to tell us a little bit about your background?
Hey, born and raised here in Clayton County. Played baseball at Rum Creek, Mar Lake City, Rex Park. Like I say, born and raised here. Played baseball all my life. Started playing travel ball when I was 13. I chose to come back to my community because, I love Clayton County. I love my community. Ended up going to, I didn't play collegiate baseball, but I played collegiate football at Georgia Military and stuff like that. So that's basically it.
All right. So now you guys both chose to come back to Clayton County. Right. Interesting thing where you said, Josh, it's a baseball county. Is it still, or was it was when you were growing up?
I would say as the Parks and Rec, it's still a baseball county because there's still a lot of participation in the Parks and Rec, more so than, let's say football, which has travel organizations. But far as much as the community, I still think baseball is the community, main source. Is just, what we need to do to get that to the forefront, because it's still a lot of kids playing baseball every day, so I think it is.
Well, tell me this, is that a Braves thing?
No.
No? Not at all, huh? Okay.
I don't know. Well,
hey, I love the Braves, though.
Okay.
I grew up watching the Braves.
Okay.
But answer your question to piggyback on Josh, not to mean to interrupt, Josh, but I think Clayton County, back in the day, it used to be like you go to the park from sun up to sundown, and you just stay there all day. And like Ben House, his indoor facilities and stuff like that is a big aspect on the South Side because he's the only one right now. And I think, like Josh said, it's still a huge participation in the rec ball leagues, the travel ball circuit on the South Side. So, it's still baseball on the South Side.
Right. Now, Ben, why did you come to South Atlanta to put your baseball facility there?
For one, just the passion that I have for the game.
Right.
And also the need for baseball to be here on the South Side because we have so much talent here on the South Side. With the two schools, with Lovejoy, and also Forest Park, we've had a lot of kids come through our program that are still playing baseball, and they're still using this facility to come in. And some of the kids that aren't in our program, but are still involved in baseball, but have been in our program, this is still home to them, and also just not them, but the community. It's a need for a space like this, and I think the South Side is looking for, a place to hang their hat, and I think this is the perfect hat rack here at Showcase Baseball, just for the community.
Right. It's a safe spot. It's a spot where they can work on a skill, and it's and like you're saying, it seems like you have an open door. Once you started coming there and learning how to play, you can always come back and get reps and you guys get a limited amount of time, right? Practicing.
Exactly.
So, right. So a place
limited.
So a place like Ben's is vital.
It's big time.
Go ahead.
Especially in the weather, with the rain and the cold. With our county, we have if it gets too cold, we can't go out. If it gets too hot, we can't go out. Especially if it rains, we just at the bottom of the resource barrel. So being we can call Ben, it can be the last minute, even though he wants to do it the day before, but it can be at 12 o'clock and we like Ben, and 10 minutes later he calls us back like, hey coach, we got it open. I moved this team back. So for him to do that, it speaks volume not to just his facility, but his character. Because he trying to, he got an open arms to everybody. And I definitely understand the vision because, being in the travel ball world and seeing, what Showcase had become, now he can see his athletes are flourishing as I think they're juniors now, Ben. I think your youngest group that you had, I think they juniors now. Well, I think, that
sophomores and juniors.
Yeah, sophomores and juniors. So those kids that just came through, they still got the white Showcase helmet,
They ain't gonna get rid of that white Showcase, boy.
Look, I told them, you gotta take the emblem off or something. Look, they had that Showcase helmet on like it's golden, but
they wear
it just speaks volume. Yeah, they do wear it.
Yeah.
Right. So we just talked about vision, right? So let's talk about a little bit about how there was something that happened and you've had some troubles with it, Josh. And Tony mentioned how complicated it is for you when we talked earlier too. County came in, wanted to help out, give you a new ball field, and they kind of wound up throwing you a curveball. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Man, you talk about facing 90, already. Now we're facing the 90 with a hammer on the curve,
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I looked at it. We was already downhill with the facilities already before, but for them to come in, great help. I love the vision of the program, but, if we could have had a little bit more communication, more of our input, I think we could have got a little quicker done. But yeah, just to speak on it, they threw us a major curveball for them to tell us that the facility is going to be done in December, of last year. We waiting on practice time. I counted like 8 practices before the first game. That's tough on any team. So, we had major obstacles to face before the season even started, with the field issues, and pretty sure Tony he has a feel, but I'm pretty sure, his feel is not up to par as far as,
Right.
6'8" baseball.
Absolutely.
You'll talk about that a little bit, Tony, or?
Yeah, absolutely. Like Josh said, it was just a major setback for a lot of them. A lot of teams and struggling to get practice times and things like that. But like you say, the facilities, I have a field, but it's not top notch for a 6A baseball program. But hey, we do make it do what it do. It is what it is until we get better. I tell my guys we gotta take care of what we have and cherish what it is. And when we get better, we'll get it. But until then, we gotta do what we gotta do.
Right. And to some degree, kind of what's needed is, Ben talks about this community needs a vision that kind of oversees everything. And you two guys tend to, I from talking to you, I can tell you worry about his program and he worries about your program, and you guys know that one another. You all realize that for things to get better, everybody has to get better. Everybody's facilities have to get better. And because if I'm going to play him, that park needs to look good too, because parents are going to want their kids in an area where they're going to play in good situations, right?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Especially with these kids playing perfect game and they going out and playing at these top-notch high schools, during the season at 13, 14, they playing on high school fields. And high schools, they're smart. They'll turn on the scoreboard at some games.
Yeah.
I get it.
It's a recruiting tool.
Oh, yeah, those lines will be a little bit more crisper.
Mm-hmm.
You get it?
Yeah.
And that's what we know. That's what we're trying to do.
Basically, what we're saying is the coaches, the ADs, the admins, the county administrators all kind of need to be able to communicate well with one another, right? And
Exactly.
in order to get the complete vision all the way up. It's not just your AD, it's communications with everybody all the way up. So let's take a quick break, and then we'll come back and we'll talk a little bit about the family dynamic and stuff like that. Sound good?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Cool.
Good.
And boom. All right. Thank you, folks. We are back. And again, thank you to Arden's Garden, Atlanta's premier source for juices, smoothies, and plant-based foods, and Towns, Davis and Associates, LLC, attorneys and counselors at law, winning millions, fighting for justice for you. And of course, Georgia Showcase Apparel, which you can contact at showcasebaseball.georgia@gmail.com if you want to get some stuff to wear. Now, we're going to get a little bit, we went kind of macro talking about the schools and getting a vision for everybody. Now let's talk a little bit more micro. We're talking about the family dynamic. We're talking about kids get to the high school level and you kind of having to reteach fundamentals and how frustrating that can be. You want to touch on that, Antonio?
Yeah, it's very, we as high school coaches, me and Josh, we coach on travel ball circuit, so we know elite. But it has to start somewhere. So by the time you come to me, I got 2 hours practice. Let's get that understood. It's 2 hour practice. It ain't a 6 hour practice. And you play Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You play Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. So you might have 6 hours, Josh, at the most, to practice. So my thing is, you need to go to a Ben house to get extra work. You need to go to that because not only does he have the indoor batting cage, he got trainers. You need to get training and the proper stuff like that. And I know Josh with his field situation, he don't even practice. His practice is during the games. You know what I'm saying? And that's reality. He practicing during the game, but back to me at Lovejoy, I got kids coming to me that don't even know how to catch a fly ball the proper way. That's a problem. That's a major issue. But how do we fix that issue? That's the question.
Right. Well, Josh, you said to me, I don't think you meant it like this when we were talking before, but you said to me, I talk to because you did a little bit of rec ball before you were at the high school level. You said, I teach them just like I did the 8-9-year-olds, right?
Yeah.
But you didn't mean you needed to be teaching them just like you did the 8-9-year-olds how to catch a ground ball, where, glove on the ground, all that, right?
Nah, I'm still teaching that. That's the thing. When I said that, like, I'm teaching these 8 and 9-year-olds what I learned in college, because that's like, I only teach one way. Like, I can't teach how to play rec ball. I'm going to teach you the correct way. So if I did that at 8 and 9-year-olds and I'm doing that again in high school, like, what are we doing? But that's part of the reason why I got ran out of rec ball, because I was teaching more than, they wanted to see results. So a kid might have fielded the ground ball correctly, but the runner was safe, and the parents just didn't understand, like, why is he moving so slow? Because the field's so small, Mom. When he turns 12, he's going to make this player look so smooth. And now this kid, he tells me, Coach, I'm smooth, I'm this and that. I told you, because it was, from that 8 and 9. So that's just how I look at it. But to teach a kid how to catch, how to throw, all I want to do is teach them what's the difference between a 4-seam and a 2-seam. Because they ain't learning that in travel ball.
No, you just throwing.
You just throwing. So if but I'm gonna tell you, it's some elite kids can't tell you the difference between a 4-seam and a 2-seam. And that's just a lack of IQ baseball across the board. But that's the difference between an elite kid and a kid that just, above average. Because baseball, I feel like it's a lot of above average kids, but it's a lot of good kids, but it's a lot of elite kids. But it's very amount of elite kids, what I call.
And usually that kid is the one that's physically talented, but has also been trained properly.
Those are kids that you just got to manage. And
right.
And that's the difference. I'm not a trainer. I'm not going to teach you how to hit. I'm not going to teach you how to throw. I'm going to teach you how to grip the baseball and get it to a slot. But if you can't get it to a slot, I'm not a trainer. I'm a manager coach. And if you want to train, Ben has his guys. JR, you can go down there and hit. But I'm not. You can't get 60 balls hit in practice today. You're gonna get 8 to 13. Yeah, I got to hit 2 teams, and so you're gonna get about 8 to 10 swings at practice.
Okay,
but versus you go to Ben house over there, get with JR here, train him. You can hit all day. You can hit about 4 or 5 buckets. But when you get over here, like Josh said, we got 2 teams. And, you're not going to get them much swings. It's impossible for 2 hours.
Right.
You're talking about 2 hours.
Right.
That's the problem. That's the problem right there is I've got a program with 100 kids in it, and I've got probably 10% that trains. So that's what you're inheriting. You're inheriting that. So
90.
When parents think that you can cheat the game by just being involved in a program and not getting the proper training that's needed, think that you can just go on the field every weekend, every Saturday and Sunday and play games, play tournaments, or just go to practice and think that your kid's going to get better. This is what you're inheriting, because parents aren't investing in their kids the way that they need to be. So when they get to high school, they're looking at a Josh or they're looking at a Tony to get their kids to that next level.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, with myself, when parents are looking for that help when they get in 11th and 12th grade, I'm not going to put my name on the line for a kid that I know he's not prepared or he's not ready for that next level. I'm not going to do that, because it's going to hurt that kid that actually does have that skill set, or that is working, that's training every day, or at least 2 or 3 times a week. It's going to hurt that kid when I put him when I bring a recruiter to a kid that's not ready. So it's going to be a disservice to that kid that is ready, and it's time for him to go to school or to get recruited or get scouted. So that's what Josh and Tony is inheriting right now is a lack of kids training, and it's a big problem on the south side of Atlanta because everything's not free. You're going to have to invest in your kids. You're going to have to invest in them. It's just like anything else. If you're talented in the guitar or you're a talented piano player, you're going to invest in those tutors. So it's the same thing in baseball. It's not a cheat game.
Right. And part of that too is just being on time, having a kid ready to go, getting with you and figuring out what can we do away from here. Like, is there a way for him to get cuts? Do you have room for a tee at the house? Do you have room for something else at the house? But they do have to eventually, at some point, you do have to go into the facility and get the one-on-one training so that you can be better, right?
You have to do that, and it's just not my facility. It's more than a one trainer or two trainers, but kids need that necessary one-on-one training because I get parents come to me all the time and saying it seems like my kid's getting worse. So I was like, well, is he training? Does he do any one-on-one training? Is he getting any help with what he's struggling with? The answer is always no. And they're depending on practices, and just like Josh and Tony said, how many ground balls are you going to get in practice? Or how many bullpens are you going to throw in practice? How many APs are you going to get in practice? You don't get many.
Right. Now, I think we're fixing to wrap this up a little bit. I think we got what we needed to do, but you guys play each other tonight. Is that right?
Yeah.
Tonight.
Yeah, we played last week.
Friday.
How'd that go?
Josh won, man. You know what? Hey, let me tell you. I'm gonna brag on my little brother for a minute. He beat Josh in 4 years.
Really?
I haven't beat Josh in 4 years. But you know what? It's always a good competitive game, no matter what we do. You know what I mean? And kids don't understand that. And people are like, hey, why you and Josh always like, man, at the end of the day, that's my brother. Right. You know what I mean? I love Josh to death. I love what he's doing over at Forest Park. I'm quite sure he feels the same way about me when I'm doing over here at Lovejoy. But at the end of the day, I think I'm going to win tonight, y'all.
Tonight's the night. Dude, I think that's
look, I wish both of y'all luck.
Huh?
Yeah, I appreciate it.
I wish both of y'all luck.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it,
man.
This has been neat, man, because you got two guys that are supposed to be rivals, but they get it. And Ben, you get it. You guys all understand that we're trying to push this thing forward and get people to invest in their kids, people to invest in their community, people to help this thing grow. And thank you guys so much for giving us your time. I appreciate you folks for watching, and y'all have a great day.